Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of September 13th, where this week it's actually really neat energetically because I think it's an opportunity for us to check in on some longer cycles we've experienced through this year and see how we're doing in terms of growth. So I'm really excited actually to talk about the energies that are available this week. So before we do that, I want to make sure you've had the opportunity to get your astrology soul-made merchandise, your little cups to bring to the SIP sessions, and you can get that just below this video. But also excited to tell you about the new feature, which are called shorts. They're just really short, quick astrology horoscopes. In case you don't want all the learning, you don't want the planetary breakdown, you just kind of want to hear what's coming for your month, you can check them out, and I'll make sure that there's a card here. And also at the end of this video, there's going to be a little box that pops up. You can click it and check out the shorts videos for each of the individual signs, okay? All right, my friends, let's get in here and see what's going on this week. So first of all, as we're coming into this week on the 13th, we're actually coming in with the moon in the energy of Sagittarius, which I love. It is the great adventurer, the explorer, wanting to know a little bit more, open to expansion. And I think that's where we need to be mentally and emotionally as we begin to travel this week, because you really are going to need to stop and see where you've grown. In terms of a pivot this week, it's like, man, I've done a lot of shedding, I've done a lot of growing, but I also need to make sure that this new, hot, fresh off the press version of me is not going to jump in this week to overcommitment to all sorts of things. Yes, I'm better, but there's not an arrival. And so you don't want to overcommit and make this adventure we call life heavier or harder. So you get some examination. And I think when we're looking at examination of beliefs, examination and adventure of the inside, Sagittarius in that moon energy is a wonderful, wonderful place to come in at. Now, as we get to the 14th, we're going to see that the moon actually shifts and gets into the energy of Capricorn. So here we go. Tuesday morning, we're prepared and ready to start taking things a little bit more seriously and making sure that we're in the kind of grounded, earthy alignment that allows us emotionally to grow, which is phenomenal because we also have the sun in opposition to Neptune, who is retrograde, okay? Now, as we also see this energy happening later in the day, I just want to point out that Mars is going to move into Libra, but let's talk about the Sun-Neptune opposition first. Now, this is the first coming into the week energy where the sun is bringing light, heat, life, and vitality. I want to move. I'm motivated in this direction, and of course, the sun is in Virgo. In opposition, it means Neptune is in Pisces, but Neptune is retrograde. So as these two are having this opposition and this pulling apart, we need to integrate both sides of those energy. Both of them are giving us information, but we need to find that soft, sweet spot in the middle of what we can do with it. So this is the first day this week that I'm going to tell you information is not clear, whether it be some form of deception, like the information is just not fully clear. It is not a day, I think, to go out Tuesday and share and spread a really big message unless you are absolutely crystal clear about all of the details. It's much better of a day to be creative and to do things like that. This is certainly a day where I'm going to say, I don't feel like it's great for signing big contracts. I don't feel like this is the day where if you need to make legal and financial decisions, that this is a strong point to be doing it from. It's much more a place where you've got solid and material access, right? But you don't quite have it on this Piscean side to know that you have the details to make it work. So with what you have, what can you do that integrates those energies in the middle? Do what you have, do what you can with what you have is kind of that vibe. Now later we get to Mars moving into the energy of Libra, okay? So we're going to take this shift of Mars moving into an air energy. And Mars is like, all right, let's do it. However, Mars doesn't necessarily love the way that Libra rolls because Mars wants to go right at one thing. I want to take my action and be specific with one thing. But Libra is a double sign, so it goes in multiple directions, not Mars's favorite, but in air, Mars is absolutely workable. We're going to have Mars in Libra until October 30th. So Mars also governs our desire, my desire to do things, how I'm going to get things done. I have Mars in Libra, right? It's got to be fair. We're going to be fair here. It's going to be fair. There's going to be justice. Everybody's going to win here. And it's great when everybody can win. We want to continue to spiritually and evolutionary create those, right? But not always. That's not always the answer. Sometimes what is fair and what is just and what is real means that one side has a different lesson to learn than the others. So what I want to tell you is we've already got this energy going where everything is not completely clear. We need a little bit more time for some revelation of facts. And then we've got Mars coming into Libra, which if Mars is not careful in the energy of Libra, it will just surrender itself, right? It lets the group win and the individual voice gets lost. So this is a day of don't people please. While Mars is in Libra, avoid people pleasing, which is different than conflict resolution. It is a wonderful time while Mars is in Libra to see where you can own your own sovereignty. Where do you have your voice amongst the group? Right? So I want you to keep that in mind, especially as these energies shift on Tuesday and all the way as Mars is moving through Libra until October 30th, okay? Now, when we get to Wednesday, we actually have an energetic, not a break necessarily, but you get a chance to adjust. But there are a couple things that I saw that came up on the calendar that I think are very cool to acknowledge for our community. First of all, it is Hispanic Heritage Month. This is the first time I've ever seen that up. So I'm really excited to learn more about that and what are customs, what are practices, what's happening in your area around Hispanic Heritage Month. Let me know in the comment section down below, especially if in your area, your city, your town, your whatever, there are festivals, there are events, there are educational opportunities. Please let us know in the comment section down below. But then also, this is going to be when Yom Kippur begins. So very cool for our Jewish friends and all celebrating that. So just a day to take reverence to the fact that we're a big community around here. There's a lot of different religion, there's a lot of different belief, there's a lot of different culture and practice, and we gather here for astrology and supporting that, and I absolutely dig the hell out of that, okay? Now, good thing we get a break because we get to the 16th and it is energetically a very busy day. So be hydrated, be ready, okay? So first things first, we are going to see the sun in a trine to to Pluto, who is retrograde, okay? Sun's over here in Virgo, Pluto's obviously in Capricorn. When we have a trine, we're working in an element, so this is an earth trine. Now, as the sun and Pluto are rocking together, I want to say a couple things. First of all, they've been a part of a cycle that we've been experiencing all year long. There have been different stop-ins with this particular energy so that we can see how we're growing, because really what's going on with Sun Pluto is it's this revelation of what in us has needed to grow or go. And as we come right here on the 16th, you get to stop and look back on this year. Look back on the last year of your life and see what Pluto has taken down. What has Pluto destroyed in you externally? This is an earth energy. In your material life, what has been taken that has been left you at a space of growth? And did you grow? Are you doing the growing, right? If the finances went absolutely crazy, did you step into some learning? Did you step into some power? Did you step into some solution to grow? Because Plutonian lessons are not typically the easy ones. It is adapt or die is kind of the way these areas work when we're dealing with Pluto. But as the sun is trining and shining into this Pluto energy, it's your chance to check in and be like, you know what? I have not arrived, but I'm doing a couple things right. And not only am I doing a couple things right, I'm doing a couple things different that will help me, Virgo, be healthy, be the best version that I can be organized, right? The sacredness of mundane life is where the sun is trying to light up the fact that you have likely been doing something right in your growth. Now, I also think that this is a great day if you haven't done it. Have those conversations, do that learning, meet with that financial advisor, whatever you need to do to allow that Pluto retrograde influence of a person with power or knowledge to influence your life, right? Bring that in. Bring that in. Call that VIP and say, how did you do that? Go ahead and buy that course in mastery, how to get this area of your life together. This is a phenomenal energy to do that, but what I don't want you to do is overcommit. Don't overcommit. Remember, the idea this week is we have traveled, we have grown, but you don't have to take on and fix everything today. Baby steps are still acceptable as we travel through Virgo season, okay? Now, later in the day, we're going to see Venus come into a square with Saturn that is retrograde. So we've got the square, obviously, between Scorpio and Aquarian energy, okay? Now, as Venus and Saturn square one another, what we essentially get to experience is, first of all, this really can bring, with Venus and Scorpio, a little bit of sense of doubt. I have doubt about something that is going on in a relationship. I have doubt about these obstacles that have presented themselves in my life in some way, and I'm not sure that I can get around them. But because this is a square, you're being asked to take an action, take an evolved action, do something different. It builds a tension that will make you have to move to get out of whatever the tension that's been presented. Now, even with Saturn retrograde, one thing you can be assured of is you've already seen this. This is about a structure or a leveling up in your life that has already been there. Now it's asking you to, Venus and Scorpio, get serious, get deep. Ask some questions about your money. Ask some questions about your relationship that get to the gut, right? Like that root chakra, root chakra it up. Ask that question. And then you can allow yourself to take an action that allows you to get out of that tension. Now, again, though, I don't want you to overcommit. We've also got the sun in a quincunx to Jupiter, who is retrograde. So this gives me this idea here as well that, again, I just don't want you to overcommit. Just don't overcommit if you can avoid it, okay? Oh, and I want to say this really quick too, just for thinking. When we're talking about that sun, Pluto, and we're talking about where have you grown from, here's some things for you to look back. Look back to March 16th. You would have been shown an issue or a challenge you were trying to outgrow and you were trying to get it together on, right? Then in May, as we see that there's an energy for retrograde with Pluto, you had the chance to pivot and go, okay, hold on. I've seen something's not working. Let me look around here and check out some resources where I can grow here. And then, of course, we're back to the table now where I think you actually get to see the progress that you've made under that energy. Okay, on the 17th, we have got Mercury in a quincunx to Neptune, who is retrograde. Now, a quincunx, I don't talk about them much on this channel unless we're doing a chart, but I do want to talk about it in the sky this week. A quincunx is an adjustment. And if you haven't watched the video with Rick Levine talking about the quincunx specifically, I'll put a card up here so that you can check that out because it's glorious. But the quincunx means I'm adjusting. I can't quite get the information. I can't figure out exactly how to work this out, right? So as we see Mercury and Neptune in this quincunx, what's happening under this energy is that you don't have the facts. There needs to be more time for a revelation of truth, a revelation of what's going on. Mercury is slowed down now, preparing for that retrograde in the energy of Libra. So something around relationships, something about partnerships, something about commitments that you want to make. Mercury is slowed down and you've got it in your purview to be looking at it, right? Get into the nitty-gritty details of what's going on in here. And you're asking your intuition to reveal to you, reveal to you, reveal to you. Universe, bring my consciousness to this. God, if that's what you call that power, divine energy, help me see, help me sense, help me know, help me go back over this so that I can release it. Neptune. And the information is not quite there yet. Give it a little bit of time to reveal. You're going to check back in on this and check in on your revelation October 5th and October 30th. Okay, please mark those on your calendar because revelation will be available in these times. You'll have a better sense of where to move forward depending on where these are at in your chart, okay? Now, as we're getting ready to wrap up the week and we get to Saturday, we're going to see the moon actually move into the energy of Pisces. And this is getting us set up for that full moon that'll be happening on Monday. And we'll talk about it in next week's check-in, okay? But as the moon moves into Pisces and we go through the weekend, something I would love to leave you to think about is forgiveness, is transition, is culmination. This is going to be a moon at 29 degrees of Pisces when we hit this full moon. This is a very advanced degree. It understands why compassion and forgiveness have to be given. So in your life, as you're traveling through this weekend. Think about this. What are you willing and ready to let transfer out of your life or transition to what it needs to be next? Do you have forgiveness that needs to be given out, even if it's to yourself? Do you have forgiveness that you're denying because it holds some sense of power? Where can the transition and the culmination of things, even if it's just the culmination of the next 30 days or the last 30 days, like what are you prepared to surrender at this full moon to end, acknowledge, and adjust so that you can be on course with the strongest flow available for your success and your lessons, right? So I want to give that to you to travel with throughout the weekend. Create, enjoy that Pisces moon. It's loving on you all on the insides, right? So create, sing, dance, embrace transition. And I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful week wherever your lessons are at, wherever your lessons take you this week. I hope that you greet them with some kind of grace, even if it's painful. And grace is the slack the universe cuts us for being jerks, right? So find some grace for yourself and others this week, this weekend. And I love you, and I will look forward to seeing you guys talking about that full moon next week. All right, my beautiful friends, like this video, comment, share, subscribe. Don't leave me. We got plenty of things to talk about. Check out your monthly, check out those shorts, and we'll get together really soon.